Hi folks, we're going to talk about the colon today. The colon is a fairly basic unit punctuation mark. I think it's pretty understandable. It looks like this, and it's used between two parts of a sentence when the first part creates a sense of anticipation about what follows in the second. So whenever you have some sort of like anticipatory phrase following in a sentence, you can use a colon. And there are three main ways that we use the colon. First is a list. Second way is through elaboration, and the third way is to introduce a quotation. So we're going to look at a couple examples right here. So this is slide number 2 here, and you can use a colon to introduce a list. So let's start with lists. So these rides were at the fair: the corkscrew, the Ferris wheel, and the twister. So as you can see, the colon introduces a list. We have 1, 2, 3, and it's preceded by an independent clause. One thing that's going to be important to note is that you have to have an independent clause before you can use a colon. So you can see that here we do have that. We have these rides were at the fair. That's an independent clause, and the reading lost includes 3 novels. I don't think that's supposed to be lost. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be class. I'll make that change later. But the reading class includes 3 novels: My Antonia, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and Catcher in the Rye. And again, you notice that we have an independent clause preceding the colon, and we have a list of items that follow it. Okay, so I think that's fairly simple. But let's go to a little bit more complicated. Let's go to elaboration. And again, I just want to point out this note here that all colons are preceded by independent clauses. That's important to know. So the plot is founded on deception. The 3 main characters have secret identities. Again, we have an independent clause here, and we're elaborating on what it is we said in the first part of the sentence. In the first part of the sentence, we were talking about how the plot is about deception, and then we're elaborating. What do we mean by that? We mean that the 3 main characters have secret identities. Looking at this one, we have the class tends to be very hard. He never tells you what is on the test. So again, why is it very hard? Because he never tells you what's on the test. So we're elaborating on what we mean by the class being hard. And finally, he got what he deserved, a promotion. In this case, what is it that he deserved? He deserved the promotion. So this one right here is probably the most common place where we see the colon used when we're sort of redefining or elaborating on what was said in the previous sentence. The other thing that you want to note is that if you have an independent clause following a colon, it is up to you if you'd like to use a capital letter following the colon. It's up to you. I prefer it. I think it just looks fancier. Not that that's necessarily the reason to use it, but I think it looks a little bit classier, a little bit better, and so I use the capital letter after the colon when what follows the colon is an independent clause. So that's the only time that you can use it. You could not use a capital letter here because you don't have an independent clause following the colon. So that's all I'll say on elaboration. And finally, you can use it to introduce a quotation. So, in The Life and Death of King John, Pembroke exhorts his partner to move quickly. Be Mercury, and put feathers to thine heels. One of my favorite quotes from Shakespeare. But here you see that we have an independent clause following we have an independent clause preceding the colon, rather. And then we actually have the colon itself. And then here we have this quote, be Mercury and put feathers to thine heels. According to Caraway, we will always keep questing for our goals. Again, independent clause preceding the colon, and then you have the quote. So those are colons. Hope this video was helpful, and hope you're all doing great.